Folks, wherever you are in the world, welcome to Knox, Australia for Vintage Bash version 4.0, the fourth annual running of what has become Australia's largest RC car race. Not just Australia's largest vintage race, largest ever. This year, 483 entries have descended here on the Melbourne suburb of Knox for this fourth running of the Vintage Bash. It's all happening here this weekend. There's two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, there's stadium trucks, there's 50 Tamiya Hornets. It's an incredible weekend in front of us. Right now it's Friday, and you can tell if you look behind me, there's nothing happening on the racetrack. It's a bit of a wet start to the weekend, but that has not impacted the environment, the atmosphere here one little bit. So we thought we'd take you for a little bit of a walk, show you around on this Friday, practice day, theoretically truck racing day a little bit later on, but it's a little bit damp at the moment, but we will take you for a look around. This is the track that will see all the action. This track's been here for 40 years in this one location here at Knox in Melbourne's eastern suburb. It's been a host of national and state championship races in Australia over that period of time, and it is very much an old school dirt style track. I think we're running in the clockwise direction this week, but come for a walk, we'll go into the pits, see who we can find, have a little bit of a chat, and give you just a taste of the atmosphere here at Vintage Bash 4.0. We're here courtesy of JConcepts, major sponsors for the weekend. One of the things that we'll learn about vintage races is that there's never enough time to do wrenching either. So as we go through the pits, we'll find plenty of people still wrenching on their cars. We're going to start here and just give you a little bit of a taste of this is what it looks like at a vintage race. People have got so many cars that they all have to come out. This, the collection of one Lou Solar. Lou, one of the legends of the sport in Australia, but also one of the founding fathers, shall we call you that, of the Vintage Bash.
You can call me founding, whatever you want to call me.
Give me the kind of, you know, the short version of how this race came to be.
How this race came to be, over a conversation with myself and Aaron Defina, which Tony Gray dropped in on. Tony Gray organised for us the mini Nationals. So we knew you had a little bit of a background on it, and we just thought that if we could do something with the vintage cars, it might be something big. And here we are 4 years later with the biggest event in the history of RC racing in Australia.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's insane, yep.
Tell us about some of the cars that you brought. We're just having a little bit of a walkabout on rain day here, and I want to ask you about your collection. You know, pick out a couple of these cars and give us some highlights.
Well, there's quite a few. For many years, I raced Team Losi, as you know. You and I went head-to-head on more than one occasion. And I have some of my Losis here, my double XT that I finished second right next to you, Tony, on the left there. My double XT that I finished second at the 1996 Australian Victorian Championships behind a Simon Badesi. I also have a JRX Pro, which takes me back to the very start of the time when I started racing Losi. And I also have a couple of special cars here on the table. One of them is this JRX2. This JRX2 belonged to a gentleman called Greg Collins, who in the Australian RC community is known for a company that was called Performance Hobby Supplies. Its team drivers used to use a blue and white jacket at Scotty Wyatt.
It's a very famous jacket in Australian RC history, isn't it?
It was, yes, and that was the car that he used at the 1989 Worlds. And all these years later, I've still got it. It's one of my very, very dear cars, but I will show you a car that was handed to me very, very recently, decently. This car here belonged to a fellow competitor and a great guy that sadly has passed away. His name is Brendan Coleman. We do a Coleman Cup here once a year. His parents gifted me this car. This is a pre-production Losi XX, which he used at, not Detroit, Basildon in 1993. Yep. And for the Losi aficionados amongst you, you will see that the motor mount doesn't have the slots in it, and the gearbox housings are actually grey, not black. So it's actually a pre-production car that he received at that event. And I have relived it. I've brought it back to life. It's got all new screws and everything in it. Yep, so that's super cool. Also have a JRX-T over the back here, which was one of the first Losi trucks that I raced. And this was a very early model that had the original 5-link. And how Losi would have come up with the idea, all I can put it down to is Pops Losi was a bit of a hot rodder. So maybe he took some design ideas off of hot rods with a 4-link rear suspension. Over here I've got some more of my other prized possessions. Amongst them is a Tommy Intruder. A Tommy Intruder was gifted to me by Keith from RC Icons. Keith, I don't know if you're going to be tuning in, but brother, I've still got it. It's not going anywhere. There was a history with that car. I built a Tommy Intruder to race at the 1991 Australian Nationals. And when the time came for me to drive the car, it was given to someone else to drive. So I had to drive it a bit later on, and incredibly enough, the way that the car was painted is identical to the way that this one was painted. And Keith was gracious enough to gift it to me. And yeah, so that's I hold that one pretty dearly, yeah.
This really, I mean, this conversation over the last 5 minutes actually is all about what this event is about,
Absolutely.
isn't it? It is about the cars and the stories that are attached to them and the people and the relationships over the years.
The RC family, we call it. Some of us guys have been together for 35 years, 30 years, Scotty. You and I remember when we didn't have any grey hair and I didn't need to use glasses to find out what size pinion we were running. Yeah, it's a RC family gets together. Now it's just become a privilege and a pilgrimage for us to get together. So we're all about nostalgia, and you'll see a lot of stuff. Guys have got cars who they've brought them back out. They've revived them again after being their race cars from back in the day. Some of them are replicas, some are not. But yeah, here we are.
Beautiful. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
Speaking of cars that we've not seen since a long time, I want to take you around the corner here and we'll see if he's here. Oh, he's not just there at the moment, but we'll come back. We're going to come back there a little bit later on because there's some special cars there I want to have a look at. Here's an incredible collection, and we can tell stories about any one of these cars that are on this table. We've got cars from Tamiya, we've got cars from Shoemaker, we've got cars from Team Associated, we've got an original old Tamiya, the VW here, and variations of every different version of Hotshot. There's Team Losi, all sorts of cars, some of which are designed for racetracks, some are not. Here's a man we'll have a chat with. I'll interrupt him. Come and have a chat with me. Come and stand out here in the rain.
Why would you embarrass me?
Come on, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, good. So just to introduce yourself, tell us your name and where you're from.
Yeah, Bill from Melbourne. That's about it.
What do you love about this Vintage Bash event, Bill?
The fact that you can relive what I wanted to do back in the day, which is, hopefully wanted to race as a kid, never really did, once or twice, and now that you can, and also the custom building side of it, that's really cool. First time I saw a bit of a custom build was in the magazine. They had an Optima mid and they had some, I think it was the lossy rear arms on it. I thought that's very interesting. So yeah, just started doing my own sort of stuff from 2020, and it's come to what it is that you see in front of you today.
So this is one of the things that you are well known for, is these incredible creations. And as we've just looked at those cars on the camera, not one of those is an original kit car, are they? Like they're all kind of really hand-built, handmade, hand-modified.
Exactly, yeah. Hand-built is the key word there. So they weren't the easiest of things to build. The one that kind of looks like there's nothing done to it is the Frog, but that's had some work to it done as well. The green and white one back there. Yeah, some interesting things that I thought of myself was extending the wheelbase.
Yep.
And widening the front as well, so that's quite, I've never seen that done before. I don't know if it was ever done. But yeah, just things that I've just sort of thought of and start building. They work out a bit differently in the end, but they come to what you see as today, and they're fun to drive and build, and yeah, they're all a bit different.
Tell me about this Tamiya Hotshot we've got here on the trailer right in front of us. A Hotshot dear to my heart, my first ever race car, but tell us a little bit about what you've done here.
I believe there was like a magazine that came out that showed you how to do this style chassis. So this is just my own rendition of it. It's the design is kind of based on the Akashi Ultima, just for a bit of fun, really. That's about it. Nothing else special about that one, really.
Are they alloy rear suspension arms, upper arms?
Yeah, they're just ones that you purchase. Yeah.
And you've presented it here on the trailer. The trailer's being towed by a Marui Big Bear.
Yeah,
I mean, you got the whole lot here, right?
Yeah, that was Big Bear was my first RC.
Okay.
Not that one right there, but yeah. So there's a bit of history behind that one. I thought I'd have a play with the chassis as well, and that's what happened to it once I got to it.
That is actually the quote of the day. Once you got to it, when you get to cars, this is exactly what happens. Bill, thanks for the chat.
Bit of fun. All right, thanks guys. Enjoy the day. Cheers. See you out there.
So this is exactly what we've got happening here at the Vintage Bash. We've got everything from kit competition to reproduce cars to things like Bill's creations. The imagination is incredible. We'll duck in here. There's a couple of cars in here. We'll see if we can interrupt these guys. I'm just going to interrupt this conversation. Sorry for a second. Stand up with me. I want to just talk to you about the collection here. Can I just interrupt? Sorry for doing that. We're just doing a little bit of a walkabout and a tour. Just tell us your name and where you're from.
Dean Kaufman. I'm from Canberra.
Dean Kaufman from Canberra. We're going to come out into the light here. Sorry.
Lovely, okay, yeah.
We're going to make you stand in the rain.
Your white balance terrible.
Is this your first Vintage Bash? Give me a little bit of your own history here.
Okay, so I started restoring my original fast attack vehicle in about 95. Couldn't find any parts. Started trying to find bits and pieces. Wound up with spare cars, bits and pieces. Around about 2007, saw all this chatter on RC Tech. People like Darren
RC Tech. Wow, now we are going back into the annals of history.
And so, yeah, like all these guys talking about vintage. And I thought, oh, this sounds all right. And there's Jason Millwood guy and Darren Johnson, who obviously is another Canberran. Yeah, we were all chatting away about this stuff. They put these photos up of this race meet at Ryde. I was like, next year I'm there. And I've turned up with my fleet of like 4 cars or whatever it was, one of which was a fast attack, a wild one that I'd made out of spare parts trying to get my fast attack vehicle together. And I'm just a chronic bargain hunter, so I just keep on finding cars. And yeah, so basically I wound up with all these cars. I hate tooling on cars at race meets. So I don't have a collection. What I have is spares. One breaks, it goes on the bench, I take something else out. It's not uncommon. I've been doing this for since 2008. It's not uncommon for me to run like at least, 5 heats, 5 cars. And because they're vintage, they break, and my old tagline on RC Tech, restore them, run them, break them, repeat.
Let me invite you to go and pick up 2 or 3 cars off the hooks over there and bring them over and we'll put them on the table here and have a look and we'll talk to you about some of your favourites. There's a fantastic collection of cars here. There's the Marui Galaxy, that's the first one that he's grabbed. Fabulous 2-wheel drive car from, I say fabulous 2-wheel drive car, they were terrible, but a fabulous car from the mid-1980s, so we'll have a look at that one. We'll get a little bit of a chat through the history of these cars. Maybe one more. What's your other one of choice there? Ah, yes, one of the classics. All right, let's start with the Marui Galaxy here. Tell me about this car.
Okay, so this one was handed to me as a gift from a friend many years ago. Didn't have the cage, didn't have anything, and I basically started looking for bits. I was driving home from Melbourne, stopped at a lovely little hobby shop in Wangaratta, and he just happened to have a body kit. And so put it together, and I think it may have made the 2nd or 3rd vintage meet that I came to, and everyone just went off about this thing because I thought that everyone started out with a Hornet, but just about every other racer, that was their first car. And this weekend, I've had that many people in the gazebo going, oh my God, it's a Galaxy. Mark, who's sharing my gazebo with me, he and I have been talking about Galaxies for the last 15 years. Anyway, so it is basically all the badness of suspension geometry of the original SRB, and for some god unknown reason it works. This one...
No, it doesn't. I've driven one. They're terrible.
This one has been immortalised on YouTube by Jason on RCTV. 5 minutes of some of the best editing for RC you'll ever see, and that's why it's one of my favourites.
What else have we got? What have we got here?
So, this guy here, that is your Kyosho Progress. While Kyosho turned out the Optima, fantastic, probably one of the greatest successes in racing history. This was the other car they made at the same time. All-wheel drive, all-wheel steer. Chain drive. Really complicated and just fascinating to play with. Rear motor, so if you turn in like a normal car, nightmare. I'm being PG. But yeah, this one, it's had some love. I very recently just converted to twin shock front end. You can see it's had a lot of running underneath. It's just another one, and it's probably more fun to listen to people go off about it from the stand than it is to actually be driving the thing. It looks great on the track though. I just love it.
And a third choice here, this looks like it's from the Tamiya family.
This is my Boomerang Riri. Oddly enough, I actually have an original Boomerang, but that's my basher. Okay. This guy was my 40th birthday present from my darling wife.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. So I've had it for 16 years. It's done pretty much since 2009. It has done every vintage meet with me. It's like Granddad's axe. It's fourth head, third handle, all original. And so, yeah, this thing is just a hoot to drive. One of the vintage meets has done a pure hotshot class, and this in that hotshot class makes me look competent. It is just brilliant. It is so much fun. They don't jump. You have to turn them with oversteer. There's nothing good about them when it comes to a proper race car, but they are the best damn thing to drive. And so, yeah, my three faves out of the wall, I suppose.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much for the attention.
It's a wonderful, wonderful collection. There's Marui Samurais, there's PBs, there's Tamiya Wild Ones. There is so much goodness. There's a golden arrow, a Tandy golden arrow, which you said came out of a skip bin. This is exactly what's kind of going on here. Come with me, I've spotted all the good stuff comes from skip bins. There you go. There's a Kyosho Raider, the two-wheel drive classic, the Marui Ninja, every car you can imagine from the 1980s. I'm going to come over here and grab another man for a chat. Uh-oh, he says. Stand up and talk to me. We don't do this sitting down nonsense. No. We don't do this. So introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
I'm Darren Johnson. I'm from the far south coast, also known as Retro RC on Facebook and other platforms.
And why are you here?
Because I'm a vintage nutbag like everyone else.
What do you love about this vintage bash and the way this event goes, Darren?
The friendships, and we tend to make the here in Australia, the meetings are all about the cars and the relationships and the stories of the old days. So it tends to be just one great big sledge fest, and we just all love each other's cars and appreciate them for what they are. So, and on the track, it's less about the winners and the lap times and more about, geez, did you see that car in the way it took that corner? Or, just reliving the fascination of what we used to do in the 80s and the 90s.
You're just back from the US where you were a part of the Team Associated Vintage Race at Las Vegas. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Like most Aussies, you sort of think, oh, geez, the big up American sort of situation. It's and they did big up it. It was a fantastic event, and the facilities were incredible. And being around all of the legends and all of that sort of thing, standing underneath the driver's stand and having 30 world championships between 12, 13 drivers was pretty impressive to see them driving around. But I think the biggest thing that impressed me about that was it wasn't just about the racing and the super fast times and things. It was about the good 75 to 80% of the people, just like us, love the cars, love the, just reliving the old days. But it was very much an eye-opener in terms of just how big the Americans can make things as well. I mean, it was an amazing facility, a huge number of people from all around the world, UK, everywhere. It was great, and it was a good in terms of spirit of competition, but also to catch up with people that we hadn't seen for years. It'd been 89 since I'd seen Eustace and all of those guys, and to be around all of them as well was incredible. Yeah.
You talked about the cars that we love. I'm going to stand out of the way here. Tell us a little bit about what you've brought with you this week.
I've brought more in the car, but what I've brought is pretty much what I ran in Vegas. So this is one of Cookie's 91 Worlds reproductions. So
he's basically reproduced a prototype Losi from the 91 Worlds.
Yep, from the 91 Worlds. So this is the sort of transition between the JRX Pro and the Pro SE. So there's a lot of changes that were made in that period, and it's basically a reproduction of that car. One should have won the 91 Worlds, but the Associated team got hold of the hide to drive and beat the boys. But I've also brought Laser ZXR, which I was going to run at the vintage event, but just never got around to it. But yeah, Laser ZXR from 91.
And then it's in pieces here, so I want to be a bit careful with it, but I do want you to tell us about this car. Because it's well known here in Australia, but tell us about the original and then tell us what you're doing with it.
Well, I have got the original here of Bob Burbage's, but back in the early 80s, 85, 86, in Australia, the Mugen Bulldog was extremely competitive. It won the 86 titles with my partner, the business partner, RRC, that makes this pit bull. He won the 86 titles with a Bulldog. So we've taken all of the mods that were on the cars and the ideas that were tried back then, and of course using modern technologies with 3D printing and things like that, we've just developed it and recreated the drivetrain, worked on all the Achilles heels of the original car, which was mainly drivetrain, but we've kept everything exactly the same in terms of geometry. We haven't interfered with the suspension or anything along those lines, so it's still a monoshock. All these angles are the same. We've just created hinge pin braces, done the steering, locked out the rear end. Instead of the good old angle iron from the days where you sat there with a file and all of that sort of stuff, it's all printed now, nice and neat. But was highly successful over in the States. We managed to snag a 4th place, or we tied for 3rd actually. Qualified 6th, but came in 3rd, and then on points got knocked back to 4th. But the car's been highly successful. Now it's reliable, and we'll be putting it into production. We're probably going to do the cages first for people to actually be able to buy, because that's something that people are screaming for, are the cages, and we've made ours multi-parts, so you can, if you break one small part, you can just replace, rather than the whole old cage where you just lost it. But we'll also be doing the drivetrains, because that was the Achilles heel of the original Bulldog. Just 2 finer belts and not adjustable, so our entire driveline's printed and all of that sort of thing, and it's just an incredible time to be involved in the hobby, because we can turn the ideas we had in the 80s and we only dreamed about, and we sit there with blocks of aluminium aluminium for the Americans. We'd sit there and filing and cutting and hacking, and it'd look agricultural, but now we can turn it into something that looks polished, and incredibly, the full drive line is printed, and it's held up with a 13.5 in the US on that track. So we're really impressed, and we're hoping to be in production early in the year, but we'll be offering the cages and the drive lines hopefully by the end of the year. So get more Bulldogs on the road.
You and I have talked before about how the Bulldog has, particularly in Australia, been like a seminal car almost in that period of dominant, 85 to 87. It was extraordinary, wasn't it? How fabulous. How much do you enjoy driving it?
I love it. I mean, one of the really important things for me was I originally drove Bob Burbage's car, who was part of the RPM team back in the day, and I wanted to make sure, or both Michael and I wanted to make sure, that the car maintains how it used to feel. So that's why we've kept all the geometry the same, because the car's so planted, you just pull the throttle and you just keep steering, and it just round and round. You're going to experience that because you're going to have a drive, aren't you?
Geez, I hope so.
I hope so too. We've got to give you a run. We've got to give you, but I'll have tomorrow, I'll have the evolution here, like the 3 cars we've built over time, and the things that have changed. It's been an 18-month project, but we're finally at the end of it now. And we probably could have picked a more popular model to make more money off, but it was more about the story of what we did in Australia. We did some pretty amazing things, like RPM engineering. Like, we had the Bulldog, we turned the Zerda into a great running car with RPM, and the Masons. The Bulldog, the Zerda, the RCL Incident. There's a number of cars that never did any good anywhere else, but Australian, with an ingenuity, really pumped it in. And it was incredible, actually. I was standing watching a race in Vegas, and I'm just holding my car before my race, and Matt Francis comes up and goes, "Is that a Bulldog?" And I went, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh my God," and lost it. We talked for like 2 full heats. He says, "That was my first car. Are you doing it?" So he wants to run one as well. So it's nice to see people, going back to that. They weren't a great car standard, but to see the Aussie ingenuity, and then to have people come and go, "Man, that thing goes so well. They never went that well here." And I thought, well, it's Aussie for you, yeah.
Beautiful, Darren. Thank you so much. Great to have you here, and the cars and the creations. Hope you have a great weekend.
And the same to you, mate. And we'll look forward to giving you a drive, eh?
Can't wait, can't wait. They've got no caster on the front end of this thing. The steering is incredible.
And you got droop like that.
They're quite...
like toe out and toe in, and then you get to ride height, and it's dead level. They're just an incredible thing, like in terms of roll and pitch. A monoshock is just so different. But I had Atsushi looking at it, and he's talking to his pitman and his crew over there, and he just said, "It's amazing how it feels like a standard car. Like, the original geometry, it doesn't look right, but it just works." it just works. So that's why we didn't touch it, is because it just works.
They do. Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
That's a pleasure. Cheers, Scotty.
That's Darren, absolutely one of the characters and legends in this sector of the sport here in Australia. There's a bunch of people here from New Zealand as well. Let's go over here into Team New Zealand world, and we're just going to pick a random Kiwi. Come and stand up and have a chat with me.
Hello.
We're just doing a bit of a tour while it's raining and having a look around. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Okay, so Chris Fortier. I'm from Christchurch in New Zealand. So we've come over for obviously the grouse weather you guys have got here. So there we go.
Did you just say grouse?
Grouse. Is that not an Aussie term as well? Obviously not. Okay, that's a Kiwi term. Means good. There you go.
Sure, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, tell us about the cars you brought with you.
So I'm a bit of a Yokomo freak. So I've got an 834 RPS. So that's basically the car that won the Worlds in 1985. So yeah, it's hilarious to drive. It sounds like the world's going to end when it goes down the straight because it's very, very noisy. But yeah, that's a heck of a lot of fun. And take the body off if you like. Yep. So it is a silly, silly car. So there's a whole bunch of gears going on in there, and then a chain joining everything together. So yeah.
They really did have the world's longest gearbox, didn't they? From the motor all the way back to the rear diff.
Why didn't they just put another chain in the back there? I have no idea. So handles terribly, noisy as all hell, but hilarious to drive.
You love it, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we call it the Spud because it's just an ugly Spud. Yeah.
So that was the first World Championship winner in 1985. You've got a couple other Yokomos on the table. Take us forwards a little bit. Yeah, we'll grab that car. I'll give him a little bit of space. So what do we got here? What are we looking at now?
In fairness, this is a bit of a mixture car, but it's reasonably close to what won in '89 with Masami. So this is a YZ 870C. So it's basically the next car on from this guy. This is sort of in world spec. So it's got the really narrow chassis and the longer arms and the controversial 2.2-inch wheels.
And looks like some different rear suspension. Are they 3D printed or carved rear suspension arms?
These are rears and arms, basically exactly like what they ran in '89. I think Masaki sort of hand carved those out of, whittled them out of bits of nylon back in the day. So they're basically the same as what they ran then. So very, very similar car to what he ran. It's just the only difference being it's converted to LiPo as opposed to the old NiCads. So yeah, that's the go.
How many white kitchen chopping boards got turned into suspension arms back in those days, right?
This is it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's bits of chopping board.
And then, so let's stick with the theme and drag you right forward to the newest of the Yokomo cars you've got there. We'll grab that one out, and then I'll just hold on a sec while we get it out, and I'll get a microphone back to your face here. Tell us about this one.
So this is a replica of what won with Masami again in 1997 at Worlds. So this is an MX4 prototype, and these are made by Ruben in the States. He calls himself Rubrics. So it's a pretty faithful replica of what the 97 Worlds car was. He makes an Evolution version as well, which I don't think it's sort of, it's not really us here racing at vintage stuff, but a lot of guys will run them against modern cars as well, and it'll just be big bore shocks and that sort of stuff. But this is pretty close to what they ran in '97. So. Yeah,
right. We'll get you to pop the body off. We'll have a look under the hood. So what we've seen here is that evolution of Yokomo cars from 1985 in the hands of Gil Losey Jr. right through the 89 car and then into this, as you say, the replica from 1997. We're in the US in 97, weren't we?
Yeah, that's it. So that was Ranch Pit Stop, wasn't it? So running back to where Ranch Pit Stop was in 85, and then they ran them again in 97 at the same place. So bit of a change of cars from then to there. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the vintage scene over across the ditch in New Zealand. Oh, I've got water on your chair, mate. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, tell us what's the scene like over at home.
It's bigger in the North Island than it is in the South Island. We're from the South Island. There's a few hearty, crusty old buggers that will still run some vintage stuff in the South Island, but there's a couple of big tracks up north that they're right into their vintage scene there. They're actually looking to try and do a double header to be able to have one weekend at that track and one weekend at another later on down the track. So that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, they're right into the vintage stuff up there. I think it's GKR in Auckland. They basically will run. I can't remember what the years are that they'll run, but they all just run a G27 Kyosho 27 turn stock motor, and then whatever tyres and cars to a certain date that you can run. But yeah, that's pretty big. So that's essentially all they run. They don't even run modern cars at that track. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Yet to have a chance to go up there and actually have a run up there. But yeah, looking to do that next year.
Does look pretty awesome, doesn't it? You got a good crew here. How many of you have come over from New Zealand?
So there's just Hayden and I, and Dean. So Dean's from Hamilton, via Australia. But yeah, there was 3 of us last year, but Tim went to the Worlds and raced at the Worlds and decided he couldn't do both. So it's just Hayden and myself from Christchurch, and then we've grabbed Dean as well.
Beautiful. Well, welcome. Hope you have a great weekend.
Yeah. No, as long as you turn the waterworks off, we'll be back into it again.
Grouse, isn't it?
Grouse, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Cheers,
I
guys.
really have wet your chair there, putting it out in the rain. Sorry about that. I do want to show the folks this Schumacher cat here, because hidden underneath the cat is the original advertisement from the magazine back in the day, the Sly, Sleek, Swift Schumacher Cat XLS, winning the World Championships in 1987. So replica box art, nicely done, and that's the kind of thing that we see all over the tables here. There's a Tamiya Fox running a Palmer Eagle body shell, and I think all kinds of mods going on underneath there. There's a replica RC10 that looks a lot like was driven by Reese Birtles here in Australia back in that period as well. All the kinds of magic that we see all around the pits here on a rainy first day at the Vintage Bash. We'll keep going for a little bit of a wander and see who else we can find. There's a couple of people I did want to talk to, but they're just not at their chair at the moment. Where did he go? He's disappeared. No, he's disappeared. Team Sparky, Red Hot. It is a rainy first day. There's a man we'll grab and have a chat with. Where's your house, Cookie? Oh no, you can come over here and talk to us about the '89 cars.
Yes, much better house.
So one of the very, very, very special parts of this VB Vintage Bash 4 is a reproduction of the A final from the 1989 World Championships. Firstly, tell us who you are, where you're from.
Hello, thank you very much, Scotty. I'm Andrew Cook from around here, from Victoria, Knox Club, where we're standing in the rain.
It's not raining that much.
No,
one of the Kiwi guys just said our weather is grouse. I'm not sure if that was a compliment or an insult.
Grouse, yeah. That's like an 80s awesomeness. Yeah. I don't know what they call it these days, but grouse is good.
Tell us about this '89 A final reproduction. What's the kind of, where this come from? What are we doing? What is it all about?
Yep. So the concept was, especially with the Worlds that we've just had in Hills in Sydney this year. First time we've had the Worlds for 36 years. So 1989 was the 3rd World Championships ever, and it's been 36 years now. We've just had the Worlds again in Australia. So. Kind of to commemorate that, and in conjunction with the Vintage Bash this year, I had the ridiculous, crazy, as it turned out, super awesome, brilliant idea to recreate all 10 cars from the Tour Drive A final from that IFMA 1989 World Championships at St Ives. So yeah, all 10 cars. So there's 4 of them are the prototype, stealth prototypes that Curtis Hustings and the Associated guys built, including, of course, Masami's car, who was the eventual winner. We had Craig Drescher in the A final, number 6, who had a standard RC10 graphite with the new stealth gearbox, which was the prototypes at the time, so all hand-machined Delrin prototypes for the gearbox casing, and all of the new slippers they designed. And then we had the 3 Losis. I'm going to get this wrong, so apologies, Lou Solar. Kind of Pro SE prototype, what became Double X eventually after that, prototypes. So we've got the 3 of those, which Lou has built up, and Jeff Primer built one of them actually. So he built the Jack Johnson prototype car. And then we've got 2 extras, which was the Kyosho Pro, Ultima Pro, with Joel Johnson, the number 8 car there, which Carter has built for us. It's actually quite a extensive prototype car as well. Never really realised, but yeah, Carter's designed and built that, similar to what I've done for the Masami cars. Not quite as much of the plastics, but top deck, double deck, for all the chassis, towers. There's quite a lot of custom parts on that with Joel Johnson. Yep. And then to the amazement or surprise of Jamie Booth himself and pretty much the entire world, he managed to get the Schumacher Top Cat, which I think is pretty cool, but I think it's much unloved. But the Schumacher Top Cat into the A final, qualified 7th. So that was pretty awesome. And yeah, so we chatted with him. He doesn't remember too much about the event, Jamie, but I think he was impressed with himself of getting it in there.
I'm still impressed. 36 years later that a Top Cat made the Tour Drive A final on a slippery dirt track. So we're not just going to look at these cars, are we? We're actually going to run them. What's the plans?
Yes, so we've got a nice display here, but the whole idea was to make them work and run and do a revival or a recreation of those A finals. So we ran them yesterday for the first time. A lot of them was literally their first run, and they all worked really well, so that was good. We got 8 of them out there actually. I need to finish off the wiring on the Masami car, and the Drescher car needs a few extra bits on it to be ready. So we were going to do 3 A finals, like one race each day, not a full-on cage match, like a nice demonstration type race to showcase the cars and drive them the way that they would have been driven in terms of nice and smooth and professionally, and following nose to tail and making them look good. We'll do a run tomorrow after the racing finishes, and Sunday. Don't think we'll be able to squeeze the 3rd one in that would have been tonight, but we'll see how we go. And
guest drivers kind of in each of those races, is that the plan?
Yes, yeah. We're trying to get a range of drivers from Australian and international history. So, drivers that have got some history with the cars, were champions from back in the day, state national champions, top racers at the events in the 80s and 90s. So, in addition to that, we've also got Rory Cull. So he was at the 1989 World Championships. He might not have been in the A final at that Worlds. I think he was very close, but he didn't quite make it. But he'll be driving Craig Drescher's car, which was the same paint scheme from Dallas Mathiasen. So we've got him to run that car, which is pretty special. He did make A final in 4-wheel-drive, so so way better than myself and a lot of us have ever been. And we've got Atsushi Hara here at this event, so he's absolutely loving the vintage action, and he'll be driving Jack Johnson's car, probably mainly, or at least in a race or two. Jack was one of his big mentors when he was first starting out and learning the craft, which I didn't know. So yeah, that'll be pretty special for him. So Jeff Primer was very excited that Hara loved his build of that car so much. And then we'll be getting some of the champions. I think I can't remember the names. I'll be like Greg Brooksy and Lou and Greg Collings. Who else do we have up there? So Bormack might have to get a run of the Top Cat as well. Oh, you want to, right? You want to run the Top Cat because it's amazing.
I want to drive Masami's car.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Definitely.
I've never driven a Top Cat in my life, so why not be the first time here? Mate, congratulations on not just the idea but the execution of this. It's incredible, right?
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work. I knew it'd be a bit of work, but it's always more than you anticipate or envisage. Yeah, a lot of building and a lot of research, I guess, with finding all of the kind of the right parts. I mean, they're not perfect replicas, but try to get them pretty close. A lot of the old pictures were pretty sketchy, especially the Velo car I struggled with. Just doesn't exist on the internet. Got a sketchy screenshot off a VHS recording. So yeah, and finding the right stickers. We got people like, or TFG painted the Drescher car, hand painted the eagle and all the detail. And David Hurst has recreated a lot of custom stickers for a number of the cars, including the Drescher car. I think it was the Halsey car. He did a lot of there's like a funky muscle man or something on a couple of the stickers, which are over there, we can have a look at. And yeah, so he's recreated a lot of those and a lot of the sort of standard brands that we know about in RC that are hard to get or don't exist in any other recreations at the moment. So yeah, all that sort of work, getting those little details together, literally finding all the wheel nuts and screws and wing mounts and wing wires and stuff for that many cars is more challenging than it should be. We've got Hobby Wing. We've got a few sponsors for it as well, I'd like to mention. So Hobby Wing have come to the party big time. They've provided us all of a few extras for spares, but all of the 10 speed controllers, so the 1060 brushed speed controllers. And we're running their Hobby Wing brushed motor. It's a 23 turn. And they've created it especially for this event for us. I hope that they'll be selling them in the near future. They're a pretty cool motor. It's very nice build, a good speed, not super fast. Top end's not as fast as a 21.5 brushless, for example, and we don't want it to be. It's a really good speed. Got good power, sort of smooth. It's brushed motor, which is what I love and a lot of people love. So yeah, pretty cool. So they've provided all of those for all of the 10 cars and some spares. We've got JC Racing products from the UK. He has provided us all of the wheels. So he's done all the replica wheels, and not just the Yokomo pink Masami wheels. All of the, Losi, Kyosho, Schumacher wheels. So he's got 2.2 inch replicas of all of those. So we've got 2.2 inch on all of them to make it standard, which it wasn't back in the day. That was the big controversy. And then we've got our title sponsor for the bash is JConcepts. So Jason Rona has been super excited and very generous to support our event and become our title sponsor. He jumped on it when we were in discussions, and which is super cool. And in addition, we've been able to get some of the JConcepts tyres. So we've got I have to get this right, I think it's double Ds on the rear and the ribs called rips, JConcept rips on the front. We wanted to go for the ribs, even though a lot of the tyres back then were the CRP Dynamites, especially the associated cars with the pins. But we thought, the era, the 80s, 90s, it's sort of like rib tyres on the front of two-wheel drive cars is the thing. So we went for that for a nice retro style. So we've got like a control tyre for the for the class.
Oh, so many people wish there was a control tyre in 1989, right? Everyone that wasn't Yokomo or associated. Mate, you've pointed to it there in a bunch of what you've just said, but just one last question, I guess, is what's the support of the wider community meant to you guys around this race and around trying to source all of the bits for this? And it just sounds like it's been a whole kind of collective effort, as well as many hours of your own hard work, right?
Definitely. So, done heaps of work, but lots of other people have done heaps of work and contributed, small or large amounts. It all adds up. There's been like a lot of interest. Like some people didn't even know some of the cars existed. Like I think it was the Kyosho Ultima Pro. Talked to a few people. It's like, I didn't know that car was even an existing thing, and that it was in the A final at that Worlds. And then the sort of interest and I guess the excitement that it's attracted online. I think James Knight posted last night after we did our sort of practice run, and it's just got nuts. People are like, oh wow, it's incredible, and you see all of the cars all lining up. We were nose to tail around the track at one point, and which is kind of what we're hoping for. And it just sort of looked as we were expecting, but I guess that feeling of it's kind of like 1989 again. Just like suddenly got that feeling out of nowhere. So it's been pretty cool. It's taken a lot of people. Like Lou Solar's done a lot of work in terms of building the low-C cars and sourcing a lot of the parts that we needed, and organising the motors, for example, and the speedies. So yeah, all those bits of contributions add up. Because producing the 10 cars, it's sort of, you think, lots of people have brought more than 10 cars for themselves, but yeah, you realise like how much work it is to sort of get all those little details together and make 10 functioning cars all look right and perform. It's it's a big challenge, and it feels pretty good to, I guess, pull it off.
Congratulations on pulling it off, and we can't wait to see these 10 cars on track tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon. What a fabulous way to wrap each of those days.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to look pretty epic, I think. We'll get lots of footage, live streamed. It's going to be amazing.
Beautiful. Look forward to it.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Scotty.
That's Andy Cook, one of the brains behind this whole event, but particularly behind that reproduction of the 1989 Worlds A Final. We'll come down here, and we did just name check him a moment ago, so we'll see if we can grab Atsushi Hara for a chat. We're going to interrupt the conversation here for a moment. We're going to interrupt you guys for a moment. We'll have a little chat with one of our international visitors for the week. Come on out in front. I'll drag him out into the rain. Atsushi Hara, welcome, mate. Welcome back to Australia. This is like visit number 3 for the year.
Number 3 in four months.
But this is the highlight, right?
Yeah, this is my main event for this year.
Tell us a little bit about what you've brought with you. What cars have you brought to run this week?
This time I bring Hornet Evo for fun class, and Wonder Dog Fighter for Plea 87 class. Turbo Optimist Special for 91, 93 class, 89, 93 class. And then another RC10 91 Detroit Champion Replica from GP3D. Also, I joined for 91, 93 class. And one lunchbox, of course, I have to bring. I think we do some RC soccer outside the field. They have a goal and ball, so. And I have some like a combi race because of I use brush motor on the four-wheel drive. Okay. And then I bring also motor checker. I want to make some sound of the brush motor. How nice it is. And then I bring some special car from my friend. He's drive this car. We call FF. Now I check what is mean FF. I know the front drive, but it's why they call FF. It's front engine front drive. Okay. So that's called FF. And then this is still allowed to race 91 Japan Nationals, race with the two-wheel drive, the rear drive, two-wheel drive. And then the guy, he's Tatsuya Sanpai. He almost beat Masami in Yatabe. Yeah. And then I think he got the TQ because #1 decal there. Yeah. And then I just want to bring this car to here to show that share the cultures. You know, I think it's FF never popular in outside of Japan. Yeah. So I think I saw many guys have beautiful collections. Yeah. But I'm sure, 100% sure, nobody have this car because they make only special for private team. Yeah. So, I bring this ones. And then another one, the Kyosho, the Triumph, the prototype, latest one. Okay. And then they never release on the market because they changed to the other designer and named the Pro X, the car from Kyosho. Yeah. So this one never released on the market. But this is kind of special thing from a Kyosho car. So I just want to bring something like special to make people happy, you know.
You're making me very happy. I've never seen the FF before. I'm seeing a stealth associated gearbox at the front. It's an RCL Incident body shell. Yeah, looks like it's been repurposed. And this is the actual car from that race.
This is the actual car, yes.
I think my recollection is that at a World Championship level, front-wheel drive cars were allowed right up until the point when they looked like they might start winning some races, and then the rules were changed.
Yeah,
is that right?
They banned from a two-wheel drive class. But they add another new class, say FF class, but they're not going popular. Yep. So they cancel FF class, and then FF car have to run in four-wheel drive. Yep. And then no more chance to, against with the four-wheel drive, then disappear for the FF class, FF cars. I want to make a replica of this car, and then I want to bring next year to run this track. Yeah.
I think we would love to see a replica of this car. I mean, I'm looking at how long the rear trailing arm is on the suspension. It's incredible. It would be so good in the rough.
Also, I never see like this close, Yeah. Always I watch in the track. I know the fast. Yeah. But I never see the actual car. So I'm really surprised I asked the guy how they design and how they make. It's basically they make all of a funny angle to bend, to escape shocks and the gearbox and all the things by hand.
Okay.
So all of the chassis, the front skid, this is also bent by hand. That's amazing. And they use like really true 70-75 material, so which is super stiff.
Yeah.
It's a bit heavy, but I think it's super durable, I think. It's just a piece of art, I think. It's just a beautiful art, I think.
I think art is a description, and in it, I mean, folks, we'll keep walking through the pits and we'll see some incredible cars, but I don't think we'll see anything more magical than that right there. That's wonderful.
Yeah. I bring like all of nice vintage car, but I think not interesting as like a beautiful art. I think this is Leo, you know.
Do talk to me about the Kyosho here. You've just finished building that this week online. What does this car mean to you?
I just this is my most kind of one of the most favorite car because I want this car, but my dad don't buy for me.
Okay.
He didn't because I'm too early. I have a turbo to admit, and then I go to practice and I'm getting faster and faster. And then other guys, everyone is turbo meter special. So I want same car as the other guys. But my dad said it's too early. This one enough for now, and then waiting for maybe coming the next model, which is Laser ZX. So I never run this turbo meter special. So I'm waiting for the Laser. So it's finally 30, I don't know how many years, but over 30 years. Finally, I drive yesterday, my first time in my life. And actually the car is working really, really good. And I put some brush motors, 10-turn. 10-turn brush it sounds not crazy, but with newest modern LiPo batteries, now I realize how much power compared to nickel metal halide. I don't know, naked batteries I used to run. So 10-ton, way too fast. I feel like 4.5, almost same like 4.5. So I turned down the EPA to 50%. And okay, it's a little bit too slow, so I put in 60%. I think nice power, but it's the speedo shut down because of I think too much current for the speedo. So maybe I should need to change more 12-turn or 15-turn for the race. Otherwise, I think I cannot finish the race. But anyway, the car built so nice. Now I see the clothes, how designed is. A little bit complicated because they don't. Now all the cars are so easy to maintenance because people love it to take all the depth and all things like only a couple of screws. If you want to change this depth for this car, you have to take the whole things, almost whole car. It's a little complicated design, but I think design itself is really beautiful. I see many of the good idea. So I really respect who designed for that. I know who designed this, but I really respect. And this 80s, I think 89, or something like 90, 89.
They ran the Laser in 89 at the race,
So I'm really happy to see all of beautiful cultures.
You race all around the world. You race all different categories. I mean, what do you love about the vintage kind of stuff? I mean, you run modern cars, you run 8-scar, you run all sorts of things. Right. What is it about the vintage that you enjoy?
I think it's just, I think it's more I enjoy with the talk with other vintage fans than driving in a car. I think it's most of the guys the same. So, of course, if going to race, I just want to drive good. But I think it's driving vintage car. I think it's not only the part of fun stuff for the vintage. So I think it's more. I make the new friends with all of the vintage fans. I'm just so happy to discuss with them.
I can't also not ask you. We last caught up a couple of weeks ago at the World Championships in Australia. We spoke midway through that race meeting. But what did you make of that World Championship event? How did you see things?
I mean, the Sydney. It's just different, another level. Like includes the organizations really good. Facility of course good. Like they track how to make layout and it's. Many people ask me to, did you feel like you want to race? Actually not, because I know how hard it is. Especially like newest modern 10-scale buggy. I think one of the hardest the class, especially two-wheel drive. So it's really fun to watch those like top guys fighting for winning. But I think I should stay with just from audience, not the driver. So I like to see the race. I like to see all the new cars, but even for me, like even now, I stopped that kind of level of racing.
Yeah.
So I think now more fun to watch in the race now.
I'm speaking of fun to watch the racing. I'm looking at here. The guys are out in the rain. They're running all sorts of things.
Yeah, this is the pure hobby. I think this is a beautiful thing for this hobby. Like kids, grown men play together. I think this is, RC future.
Yesterday we messed around with some Tamiya Hornets. You ran some Chonmage style racing.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Chonmage is fine. Yeah, perfect pronounce.
What is that? Give me the quick version of how does that racing work?
I think it's at the beginning. I think people a little bit confused for the rules, but I think it's the end. People are really happy to just keep running. Yeah. Split lap race makes more people have chance to run more times. So I think this is make it more easier to you can feel something like race, but not like serious race. I think it's more the fun to play RC car on the field. Yeah. At the track, still, you can drive in the track. But I think this track a little bit too big. Yeah. I think half size of this track, I think nice for Chonmage rules. And then, split laps, no marshal. Still, people gonna marshal because they want to try to help. This good thing is, but in the rules saying you cannot the help of the marshals. Yeah. Upside down, you're done. You're done. So, but I think it looks like people enjoy about this Chonmage rules. So maybe next time we do more, try to more this Chonmage style.
With more power.
More power, yeah. but with small track, I think no need the power. So it depends.
Did you say you don't need power? Does Atsushi Hara? You just said he doesn't need power. Yeah.
Atsushi Hara said, don't need power. He just told me there's too much power.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Welcome. Great to have you back here again.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the weekend. I can't wait to see you drive. Oh, I did want to ask you. You're going to drive the 1989 World's Final cars.
I do.
Whose car are you driving?
I request Jack Johnson because he's kind of my mentor. When I was young, I used Rossi car, and then he take care of me for all the time, and then he teach me how to set up and all of the things. So he's my favorite guy. So I prefer the Jack Johnson's car.
Did you drive yesterday?
Yesterday I already drive. And first time I drive JLX, all ones. Actually, the car is really, really good. And then one of the car from him, and then 5-link things, even better, I think. So I'm really happy to, I can feel that how good their car now is. Especially now we have a better tire compared to like back in the day. So I think it's a modern tire, a modern compound tire. I think it's even better to fit the Rossi car things.
I think tomorrow I get to drive one of those. It would be the first time in my life I get to drive against the great Atsushi Hara in a race. I'll let you win.
No, you win.
Thank you, mate. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
That is Atsushi Hara. It's wonderful to have him here at this, I nearly said World Championship event, but this Vintage Bash 4.0. I feel like we might, maybe we might call it there and take a little break. That's a long video for you to have sat through. We'll take a little break and see how things are going here. So we're in Knox, Australia, in Melbourne, in the southeast of Australia, at the Vintage Bash version 4, with thanks to JConcepts. 483 entries here. If only the rain would stop. We'll try and get out on track a little later today. We'll be coming to you live right across the weekend, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, covering all of the four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive racing. It's the other way around, two-wheel drive Saturday, four-wheel drive Sunday. Here at RC Race Media. My name is Scott. Delightful to have you here with us. That's been a little tour and just some insights into what's going on here on practice day, truck day, rain day. Nobody really seems to care. They're all out in the car park. They're wrenching, they're talking. This is Vintage Bash 4.0 at its very best. We'll be back with some more a little later.